Alright, how's it going everybody? My name is Tarek and welcome to another stream. Today we are going to carry on the mix unboxing for the track One Final Act on the Brink of Despair. Yesterday we have unboxed the band, and today we're going to unbox the orchestra and the production and the scene. Um, I know that the band by itself took a stream, but that's normally where most of the work is, most of the plugins, most of the shenanigans. The rest are fairly, I mean, as you will see, there isn't much processing on them. There are some cool bits here and there that we're gonna get into, but generally there isn't a lot of processing, and I've intentionally made less processing on the orchestral sections specifically this time because although I'm proud of Royal Armiger Unleashed and A Starry Night, the previous two tracks, but I do think that I wanted to, with this track, to go into a direction where I'm doing a little processing, or less processing than I was doing on those two tracks prior to this when it comes to the orchestra. And that's what I've done, and I think I've achieved a more natural sound, and hopefully, this will get better with the next track and the next track and the next track, and the more I do it, hopefully it will get better. But yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, we've done the band, that part. So part one of the unboxing is on YouTube forever. You can find it there in the unboxing playlist in my channel, or you can, if you're watching this relatively close to when I've streamed this on Twitch, you can see it in the VOD before it disappears. But it will exist forever on YouTube. So with that being said, let's dive into the orchestra. Now I have froze all of the band before I start the stream, so it doesn't interrupt us process-wise. I didn't freeze the separate elements of the kit or the drum kit. We might have to if I start unfreezing a lot of the orchestra, but I don't think so. I don't think we need to. I think the amount of tracks we froze are the ones that have the most process. Like, for example, got a lot of amp sims here in the guitars. I've got even like some amp sims here in the DI, and obviously a lot more processes on the bass. And since now the actual contact instruments of the drum kits are frozen, I think we have enough CPU and RAM to start unfreezing the orchestra. So we'll start as I always do with my unboxing. I start with the section that I would have mixed first. So yesterday we've started with a master chain, then the drums, then the guitar, then the bass, which is typical of the way of how I mix the band. And then with the orchestra, we're going to start exactly the same. So we're going to do violin, brass, woodwinds, extras, percussion, and then we're going to move to the production folder, then the sound effect folder, and then the scene. But before I get into this, I'm just going to do a refresher of my master bus very quickly for those who only are watching the orchestral section, only watching part 2, didn't want to watch part 1, and didn't want to watch the entire band thing. They just want to watch this. It is important to know what's on my mastering chain, because that is the sound you're gonna hear while I'm explaining what I have on the individual orchestral and production tracks. So very quickly, I have a band master, orchestral master, production master, scene master, and each one of these, as the name suggests, gets that section of the song routed to them. So the band master gets all the bass, all the guitar, all the drums. The orchestra gets all of the orchestral stuff, so percussion, strings, brass, woodwinds, piano, any extra orchestral stuff. Production will get all the synths, all the what else? Synths, pads, ambiances, things like that. It will also get all of the explosion, the bass drops, the brams, the reversers, the swells, the swooshes, the reverse cymbals. All of that stuff is in the production. And then the scene obviously gets the scene. All of these 4 gets then sent to the mix bus, and then the mix bus finally gets sent to the stereo out. I've showed what I have on the band master. I only had this OTT 10% depth on 100 upward, no downward. And then the orchestral, and this is the section that I want you to focus on, because this is now where where we're gonna, you know, unbox most of the orchestral stuff. On my orchestral master, I've got Soothe, and then I've got this EQ here, which is taking a little bit of the note A4, because there was a lot of build up there, because this song is written in D minor and D harmonic minor, but I've tuned my guitars to drop A, and I was writing in a lot of D's, a lot of A's, and just switching between C and C sharp, between harmonic minor and minor, natural minor, which resulted in a lot of build up in A, because I keep falling back on that A. So I've took a little bit of an A4, because it was a little building up, but only dynamically. So this is a dynamic band, so only when a lot of A is being applied, you know, or like too much, the EQ takes it. And a little bit of a shelf, and then I've got an internal multiband, so this is just to keep stuff controlled. I think this is only like about what's the range here, maybe a dB, yeah, 1.5 dB almost, except for this section here. And this is something I might actually change in the next track, maybe not, I don't know. But this is an internal multiband compressor. We're gonna talk about the external one. Now let's move to some external stuff. So there is a track spacer being triggered by the band. So this is ducking the orchestra depending on what the band needs. And I have it set only from 4K downwards. The band is not affecting anything above 4K. It's only applied at 5%. And this is the settings here for it. This will, you know, make the band carve out the frequency it needs when everything's playing together. Another one of these tricks, another multiband compressor, but this is an external one. This is also being triggered by the band. So now we have track spacer and this multiband being triggered by the band, so that the band can take away whatever it needs from the orchestra when they're playing together, as the band is the main protagonist, and then the orchestra, and then the production, and then the scene. In fact, the scene actually goes on top of everything, but because if it's just a short section with not a lot playing around, there's only some orchestra around it and some production stuff, it's fine. But I mean, forget about the scene for a moment. The band is the main protagonist here. So so this multiband compressor is an external one. So if I mark all of these, you can see it's put on external, and it's allowing the band to take what it needs. I have this a little bit more aggressively, or the range is a little bit more deeper, because this is where the guitar bite is. This is where the high end of the guitar is, in the high mids. And I have these three set on mids, as you can see with this M here. So let me see, can I mark these? Yeah. So it's set 100% only on mid, because I want the band to take as much of these frequencies as it needs from the orchestra when everything's playing together, but only from the mids, because the clash that will happen is mainly in the mid, because most of these ranges in the band are in the center, they're not on the side. So there is no need a lot for you to take them from the sides, especially that track spacer is doing some of that as well. So just to keep some body to the orchestra, to the brass, because a lot of the body of the brass is around this area, a lot of the body of the cello is around this area, the choir, all of that stuff. There is some mud, but yeah. So I'm only making the band take, you know, what it needs from the orchestra in the mids. And then on the production master, we only have the same thing. So track spacer and multiband, same as you've seen on the orchestral master. Now these are triggered by both the band and the orchestra. So the band and the orchestra are eating what they need from the production master. And as you can see, it's a similar layout. The only difference is here on these two bands, I have this set to side, because I want the orchestra and the guitars to reduce the, you know, the left and right frequencies, or to carve out the frequencies they need from the left and right channel, as most of the orchestra is panned, like let's say the violin and horns and trumpets, but the tuba and all of that stuff, they're either panned left and right, and most of the bite is there. There's not a lot of this area in the center, like even the overheads of the drum kit is panned. So there is no need to take any production element that is happening in this area from the production. Yeah, you just need, this is only to clean the clashes, right? And I would want some production stuff to happen there for the brams, for the, you know, the reversed cymbals, all of that stuff. I want that stuff to happen. So I'm only taking the side and letting all of the production stuff that's happening in the middle in this frequency to shine through. And track spacer is just doing track spacer. As you can see, I don't have the filter here, but same thing is 5%. So this is on the entire spectrum. So that is on these masters, and then everything scene doesn't have anything, and then all of these four go to the mix bus, which have Pro Q taking out anything below 30, the FG gray for the snare, so this is only reducing the mix by 1 dB only when the snare hits. Sometimes in some mixes I go to like -3 depending on what's going on in the mix, but with this one I found -1 or between -1 -2 is good. Got Gullfoss. This is gonna set it and forget it setting I have here that I took from Nolly, and then an NLS for, you know, analog emulation. Every mix I try one of these settings. Normally these are set the same, but every mix I try some of these settings. In this mix, the only thing I've tried is one of my exports. You know, when I was mastering it, you know, you export the track, you listen to it, all of that stuff. One of my exports I had set, I've put this at 4 because I needed some warmth, more warmth from the mix. But then there was other stuff that wasn't working in the mix, so when I went back and fixed those stuff, this became too much, and I've put it back down to 2. And normally 2 or 2.5 is where I've had this on most of my releases. I don't think I've had it another. So this is the first time really I've tried to put it at 4, but even then, after I fixed the things I needed to fix, I've settled at 2 again. In the past I've used this before. I think Starry Night had this applied. I can't really remember. I think Allegiance had this. I can't remember each track what I had. I know Royal Armiger had this as well, the SSL model. But I think Starry Night had the Neve model. Can't remember. But with this one I've also settled on the SSL. And that makes it all for the mix bus. Now all of this mix bus is going to the stereo out, which has my glue comp, the bus compressor from SSL, settings that I have all the time, and this is, I want this to just stay afloat. And in a deeper section of the track it will just do a little bit more, but not too much. So that's pretty much what's it doing there. And then max bass, just to replicate the original bass of the track and add another harmonic a little bit higher. So we're talking like between this area is where it's adding between like 130 and 260. Virtual tape machine on the master settings. These two actually sound really different. But this is normal, like between this and this setting. Let's actually try. Like this has a little bit more low end than this. So yeah, it's giving the track a little bit more weight. And the bottom setting here, the half inch 2-track, is the master, normally known as the mastering setting. Alright, so then after that is linear, and the linear phase multiband, and this is why I have this set to -3, because I want the audio to hit this at a certain level, so I just want to see this movement. A little bit of the snare ducking here, a little bit of the bottom end, you know, doing -1 to -2, maybe sometimes -3 dB. and these guys just dancing slightly is exactly kind of like the level I want it to be at. Then we've got FAF filter. This is, I literally took this from my mastering chain preset from every track I do. Just a little bit of the mid removed, and I'm not talking mid-range, I'm talking mid, like stereo mid. So this channel is on mid, and a high cut in the stereo and the sides basically. But yeah, so normally I would load, as you've seen me when I was mixing this track, I would load the FX chain from other mixes, because every time I release a track, I go to the mix session and I create a folder in my, you know, FX chain presets. I will call it the name of the track, and let me show you what I mean. Why am I talking without showing you? So all of these, let's go back here. Yep. So you can see like Allegiance, A Starry Night, Royal Armature, Transmissions, and this now is this track, One Final Act. So I would go, after I release the track, I would go to the track I've just released, and I will save the chain that I've done in that track, all of the important ones, and put them in their folder, just so that I can summon them in my next mix. And when you as you've seen me when I was mixing this track, let's say I've summoned, like I've loaded this chain on the kick, I would bypass everything and then start working one plugin at a time. If it doesn't work on this kick, I'll remove it. Maybe it works in a different setting. Obviously, like compression, you need to change stuff. EQ, obviously not gonna use the same EQ curve, so you would reset that. But the actual, like, you know, layout of it will be loaded. So for example, if you go to A Starry Night, you can see I've got everything here. If you go to Royal Armature, I've got everything here, right? So, and this is gonna have the same. So this folder, One Final Act, which is this track, is gonna have a lot of stuff. You know, I'm gonna start saving them for the next mix. Anyway, so yeah, so this came from me loading Royal Armature Unleashes mix master chain, and I've left it because there's no need to change anything there unless you wanted to add something intentionally. I've got Soothe on the mastering, on the master, a bit less will do from the master preset. I've tried to play around with some of these presets, but I like that one the most. I can't remember if I changed other settings in it, like the depth. This was this tweak here from 12 to 10k was a final kind of move, one of the you know, later move, or the last moves I've done before I release it. So this was set on 12k, 1 dB, but then I put it on 10k because I was sending this for feedbacks, and there were two streamers that told me, you know, it's missing a little bit of 10k. I've just put this back here. And normally I have it on 12k, but put it on 10k, and I think it solved the problem. And you've got Ozone. So I've got EQ here, and this is me mapping the EQ match of me referencing my tracks. So I've put all of my tracks here, or most of them, and I've put some commercial tracks. I normally reference my releases, and I just do an EQ match to see if I can find any mistakes. And I did find, like, if you increase the resolution here, I did find that this track was missing a lot of mid-range. Obviously this resolution is extreme, so I'm not missing that much, but I'm missing some mid-range, some, you know, high mid, and I think this is too much kick. Maybe this is from the drops. So what I normally do, I put this on like 20 or something like that, something like this. So I will keep it. I will kind of like listen to its suggestion, but mainly I go replicate what I think it's true. I'll replicate it here. Sometimes it's wrong, like, because again, you're referencing another track in a different tuning. This is in drop. This is written in D, and the guitars are in drop A. The Royal Armature was written in B, and it's written in the key of B, and the tuning was drop B. So there's a lot of differences there, different kits, a lot of things. So you cannot listen to it 100%, but you would explore its suggestion. And I did find true that I was missing actually some mid-range, missing there's too much. I think this is from the snare. This is definitely from the kick. Now you can do these at the elements, but what happens is I think the kick was by itself is fine, but when there's other elements, this is where the mud was. Now you can obviously go and start doing ducking and stuff, but you can explore with just doing this on the master bus, and if it worked out, it worked out. And to be honest with you, by this time at this point of the mix, I was really kind of like overburned from this mix, so I just wanted to release it, to be honest with you. So yeah, I kind of listened to it. So you can see this shelf is kind of me listening to the suggestion of this, right? And then you can see there's this point here, there is this point here, and there is this point here, which kind of like what I listened to. And then I set the cue to depending on what I'm hearing. But yeah, so this was set I think about 20% or something, whatever it is. Yeah, so that is on the final thing, ozone. And this is an exciter I don't change the setting really. I think it works. I got this setting from Joey Sturgis. He knows what he's doing, so I'm not gonna argue against that. And this is the limiting setting. I think this is also very standard for me. The only thing that would change is the threshold, but the rest are pretty much untouched from track to track. So when I load this preset, I don't change anything. The imager, as you can see, is turned off. This EQ here is turned off. I didn't use this one. In fact, I'm just gonna close this. I'm gonna leave this on. Or you know what? If I do this, what will happen? Yeah, fantastic. No, let me keep it just so I can understand in my next mix. I've tried some EQ moves, but it didn't work. That is actually sometimes, you know, so I can understand what I've done before and what I chose not to do. That's also sometimes helps guide me when everything's clouded. The mix is gain staged into ozone plus 4 dB. Normally I have it on 0, but probably was some gain staging move. Put it on plus 4. There is no like specific reason for this. Probably I wanted more gain to come in. Maybe because I've reduced a lot. Like I think the virtual mix rack reduced it by -3 dBs, and I think maybe this also gave some reduction here with these moves. And then I found that plus 4 was needed. But yeah, that's everything. And then obviously this is not really a plugin. This is just a LUFS meter. But yeah, that's it. And this is the plugin that makes you guys hear Cubase on stream. So that is the mixing. That's the master bus. Again, apologies for people who watch the band unboxing, but some people, so I'm pretty sure some people just want to watch this for the orchestra and the production. So I just wanted to explain what's they're gonna hear is being sent to that signal chain there. So before I unpack any of this, one more thing you need to understand with the orchestra is that I have an orchestral reverb here. And this is how it sounds. I'm gonna put it in solo. I'm gonna go to the orchestral verse. So it's Japanese concert hall from Cubase's Reverence. And I have it at -6. I think at one point I've automated this. I don't even know if the automation is still there. I don't think so. Let me see. 1 second. Let me go to inputs. No, it's not automated there. The snare reverb is. I forgot about that. Anyway, so this is the orchestral reverb, and then it's going to an EQ, just like a mud dynamic band on the muddy frequencies on the mud. And then some high pass. So this is the reverb. So you're gonna hear everything from now on when I show it to you with this reverb on. And it's at -6. Okay, so let's start orchestral stuff. So there are some tracks frozen. Let me unfreeze them. So I've got this is frozen. And then this, and this. So let's unfreeze. Just like that. And start one by one. So this is how the orchestral, the violin section sounds like by itself. Okay, so from the top, let's start from the top to bottom. I have a stereo widener, about 1.05, so really tiny amount, and some Pro EQ here on the I think this was a mastering move. I found I needed some more air from the strings, so it's about 7k, so not really high, but a bit high. So 7k is normally where the air is for the actually a little bit more would be where the air is for the strings, but yep, and that's kind of like a setting I found, and it's a little bit aggressive, so it's like 5 dBs, 5.5 dBs almost, but that's definitely was a mastering edition. I didn't do that in the mix. So let's go violin 1 first. I'm gonna put this section on loop, and I'm gonna save this session actually as unboxing, because I don't want to fuck it up. Unboxing. So now we can fuck about with this without us fearing anything. All right, so I'm gonna loop this section so we can go on it one by one. So this is how violin 1 sounds like. As you can see, and you're gonna see with the entire orchestra thing, there is not much I'm doing here. Like, I think the only addition I'm doing on most of these, 99% of these, is just this one on the strings group. This one has just this, and then it has a transient designer to increase the attack quite a lot, because this is a staccato violin. All of the track, this channel is playing staccato, so I'm having 1.5 dB increase only on the attack. I've set it on sharp, and it's affecting the entire frequency. So that's violin 1. Violin 2, same thing, only high pass. And then viola. Okay, there is some addition here. And there is some correction here. And then the viola solo, let's see what we've got. Only high pass filter. However, there is some additions here. Post fader, because I had these tracks frozen and I wanted some addition. I wanted to do some addition at literally at the very I think this is one of the very last thing I've done with this mix. So this track was frozen, and when Cubase freezes the tracks, you cannot add anything pre-fader, you can add them post-fader, and I didn't want to unfreeze anything, so I've added these two violas as post-fader processing. So these are 2 instances of Saturn, each on each viola channel, and I'm kind of like aggressively saturating it just because the viola here is the one doing the melody. So it's pretty distorted just for it to cut through everything, and I think I have this automated so that it turns off. Let me see, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Yes, I do. I remember doing that. Yes, I have this Saturn turning off when the viola, plays with the chorus here and the entire band, because it's not the main protagonist anymore. I don't need this amount of distortion. So this Saturn, both Saturn instances on both violas, they turn off when they're not needed. So they turn off a little bit more, and then they're gonna come. Where is the violas here? So, oh, okay, right now. So 3, 2, 1. Yeah. So, as you can see, it's a little bit more less distorted without it. But this was like a final thing I've done. Right. Is there anything that has post-processing here, just so we can make sure? This is something I don't like actually in Cubase, that when you do this, it goes up to the top. Let me just go here. Okay, I don't know why I have this on. Let me remove this. Cool, I should have actually just removed it. Yeah, what was I checking? I just want to check if there's anything that has post-fader processes. So some stuff in the production. And that's it. So when we get to the production, we'll cover that. Okay, so let's carry on very quickly. So we've got after that the cello sustain. So this is this is playing in the chord. No, we've got a cello staccato first. So we've got high pass. Sorry, this one. And it has a transient designer. Very, 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 very aggressive attack increase. Because when I was writing the track, I really wanted to replicate Nier Automata's Grandma OST, and the cellos there are very, very, very aggressive. And I really love that sound, and I was trying as much as possible to replicate it. I don't think I managed to replicate it as good, but with all of the layering I've done. I still think it sounds good, but I just wanted that exact tone that they had in Nier Automata, the Grandma. But yeah, that is, I've tried. I mean, this is me attempting to try to make only the attack cut through and make it very, very, very aggressive. So without one annoying thing about this plugin is the bypassing is annoying. Let me try either turning it off or clicking this to see if it's faster. Maybe here? Yeah, I think this can work. You can see only the attack is getting increased by 10 dB, right? So it's very sharp, but it's very snappy as well, so it's only the attack. And then you've got the sustained cello. This is a chorus one, so I'm gonna play it here. Only high pass filter. As you can see, there isn't a lot of processing here on the cello layer. So this is another layer of the staccato one, the one we've just heard, and this has similar processing, so a high pass and a transient designer. And then we've got the cello and the double bass layer. This is used in the orchestral verse, but it's also used in the breakdown. And I think this move here is mainly for the breakdown, but I like the tone of it, so I didn't automate it and I kept it for the orchestral verse as well. So let's see what this channel. So this is cellos and double bass. As you can see, it's played a little bit quiet in this section, but I wanted, when I was arranging it, and you can see this on YouTube, on Twitch, if you go back to the orchestration stream we've done, when I was doing it, I wanted to reach some notes in the cello with the staccato. Obviously, because my guitars are tuned low to drop A, a lot of the libraries, the cello libraries, are not reaching that register. So I had to put a layer of a cello and a double bass doing the staccato. So there are three instruments here doing the melody. 1 second. So it's this one and this one. Yeah, so there's 3 instruments here doing that. Okay, and then you've got double bass doing just I think sustains. No, so is it doing sustain here? And I think in the staccato here, and in the chorus, is it doing sustain? Forgot. Yeah. I really love the low end from the double bass, but as you can see, there is a little bit of an increase actually on here. I just said here in Arabic, hone. And a little bit of an high pass. I think this is at 20, 25, yeah. Because obviously you don't want to remove that low end. And then an ensemble. This is playing this run here. Where is it? Here. I think there is a high shelf and a high pass. So you can see not a lot of processes there. Alright, let's move to the brass very quickly. I am going to close these two, open the brass, and try to go through the brass as quick as possible as well. So we have some frozen tracks. This, and this, and this. Let's unfreeze. And see, what is this? I think maybe this is automation. We'll get to it in a second. So this is how the brass section sounds like together, and it has a Pro Q on it. Similarly to the strings, this probably was a mastering addition here. About 2.5K is what I've added. I think in the next track, if I was to do like a mastering edition like this, I would actually maybe spend a couple of minutes more just to go to each one, instead of doing like one aggressive addition like that, one aggressive bell like that. Maybe I'll add a lower bell, but depending on, you know, the instrument, where it fits that instrument more. So trombones and trumpets and tubas have that bell would have suited them in a different place, maybe shifted a little bit, but with a lower gain. Alright, so let's see one by one. So trumpets only have a high pass filter. French horn, same thing. It has another EQ here. It's probably to tame some buzz. French horn layer here has some high pass filter. Trombones also high pass. And it has this. I think this is because of the buzz. So basically, when I was playing this on jam boxes, like small speakers, there was a very, very annoying buzz coming out. I'm gonna actually play it for you. I'm gonna solo this frequency by itself. This stuff was really coming out from speakers, and I didn't like it at all. And as you can see, I've done a wide, not a wide Q, what would you call it, like a wide fucking oct thing, wide curve, because I wanted to get a lot of these frequencies. Alright, Alright, then we go tuba, high pass filter. See, like not a lot. Low brass, also high pass filter. So that was on 25, and then we've got this. I think, is this automated? Let me see. I'm not sure. Can't remember. There's no automation on the low brass. I think this is a move that I've done and then I just went back. Why didn't I remove the product entirely? I don't know. Trumpets, though, this section is for this here. So all of these three are for this, right? So high pass filter on the trumpets, then a high pass filter, I'm pretty sure. Oh, on the horns I've done a little bit more. So let's see. And then you've got the low brass, also a little bit more. Probably I needed more body. Why did I stutter there? But probably I needed more body from the horns and the trombones. Or the low brass, not trombones. This is from Metropolis Arc 3. And I think it was the cluster articulations, or was it in the normal articulation? I can't remember, but you'll find the articulation there. And I've done like so we composed this obviously on stream, so you can go back and see when we've done this, how we've done it. But all these three are the same kind of like Metropolis Arc articulation, but on the three different brass sections that they've got split. All right, we go to Frozo here. Where is it playing? I think this is in the scene. Yes, right there. So this has a little bit more of an EQ. I think this is just to bring some bite, and I can afford to do that because there's nothing playing instruments wise here other than tremolo strings.
We did it! Wait. What the?
Right, so I can afford to go a little bit bitey with this, and I don't think it was used somewhere else. Alright, this one is the where are we? Tuba Frozo. Okay, this is here. Oh, this is the Brahms, like little I call this the dark brass from the series Dark, from the Netflix series Dark. I loved adding that. And as you can see, a lot of aggressive moves, because I wanted a certain sound from this, and I wanted this to cut through the build-up. So this is how it sounds like in the mix. Right. And then we've got a cluster. I don't think I have anything on this one. Oh yes, I do actually. Interesting. I'm gonna play these two together actually, that would be cool. So yeah, a little bit also more EQ. I can afford to do that because there's not, it's just like an effect thing, and it's not happening like an aesthetic thing that is happening at more of an open section of the track. All right, this is brass. Let's go quickly to woodwinds, which I've used only one instrument here. I'm gonna unfreeze it. I mean, there's no need to unfreeze it because I'm pretty sure there isn't a lot of stuff happening on it. So on the actual woodwind, there's only a high pass filter, right? And the woodwinds are playing right here, so it's one lick the entire track. Yeah, so in the track, this is how it sounds. Okay. This is going to Wind's group. I know you might be asking, why didn't you just put this here? I just like every section to go to a group regardless if I'm using it or not, just in case I've added something extra. I have this going on. I think I didn't like some of the frequencies. I think this is on F. So probably F was building up, but I wanted to add some attack. Or it could be a whistle. It couldn't be, it could be not the actual note, but it could be a whistle. Let's hear it. So yeah, it's probably, let me see. Yeah, it's very sharp, very high frequency on the, I mean, as a frequency spectrum is not very high. It's literally high mids, but on the winds, it's very annoying, especially that I've done this curve here. So this is probably just a correction of this curve. And then after that, this is going to Saturn. Okay, just so you can hear it more. So this is, as you can see, this is a move I have with orchestral stuff without like exploding them with EQ, of just saturate them, especially when it's like something needed. Like the viola there is the main melody in this section, and the winds here are just playing one lick, but I wanted it to shine without like ruining the natural sound of it. So I've added some warm tape. I think this is at 78%, and it made it cut through. So that's it. All right, so this is the orchestral stuff done. We only have from the orchestral stuff left is that the extras, the choir, and the percussions, and then we go to production. So let's try to speed this up. Let's close these folders, we don't need them, and close this and open this, and let's see if there's anything frozen. Alright, so everything here is frozen, so let's just unfreeze them quickly. Unfreeze. Oh, what? This is not frozen. Is this bypassed? Oh, okay. That's fucking interesting. Wow, I've just discovered the... Let me see. Okay, well the track is released now. This is I think I've found a mistake in the song. It seems like I have left these bypassed when I released it, thinking that these are frozen and that they're on, because as you can see, like this is frozen, right? I cannot unbypass this because it's frozen, and when it's frozen it looks grayed out. So I don't know why I bypassed this. Maybe when I was remixing it, like trying to mix it having another go at mixing it, I probably bypassed it, and I was like, I'll do it again, and then I thought it's frozen. Didn't open it. But I can't believe that this is going released with zero processing. Like there is none of this is actually processed right now. What did I have? I had a compressor and some high pass filter. This is on the first piano, and then on the piano run, I had a high pass filter and another compressor just to tame it. None of this is applied in the track. I just want to show you what I had in, like what my intention was, is to have these and another high pass. Yeah. Right, and then all of these three were going to a piano group that had a distortion on it, like a tape distortion. This shouldn't have been here. This should have been here. Anyway, but this bypassed. Can't believe the track is released without this. The tambour and the oud. Let me show you how these guys sound like. I'm gonna go to the section where they play, which is in the verse. And I wanted this to shine really a lot in the mix. Look, I mean, the work that I've done on it. But none of this matters anymore because the track is released. So this was the setting on the tambour. And this was the setting on the oud. God damn it. Look, a lot of earth to kind of increase the thickness. And some Saturn as well. Oud distortion. Like, I've done some work here, but none of that matters because I am not taking it with me to Spotify, apparently. Distortion on the oud group and the limiter as well. Again, yeah, there's this is interesting, really. So all of this orchestral extra section is going to be released on Spotify with the zero processing. Let's hear how it sounds as is. Where is this section that everything's playing? Okay, so the oud plays by itself. So this is the oud. That's interesting here. And here. By the way, there's a note that didn't play because it got repeated. Dun 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 is the run. But yeah, it's going to be released without any processing. All right, that's fair enough. Let's go to the choir and unfreeze this. This is definitely frozen, so keep frozen files because we might need to freeze them. Okay, so dun, 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 dun. Oh, there is this one, sorry. Alright, let's go one by one. I'm gonna open these here so you can see them as I'm playing. So these two are the same, so this is men and women, same phrase. I think these are the staccato. Are these? Yeah, these are the main kind of choir. So I think they're energetic. Yeah, energetic syllables from Audio Imperia and Performance Samples Contact Library Chorus. So this one here is just to end the other phrase. So it just says sof, and this is just to end the ah. Right? Because I didn't like how this by itself ended here, so I've added this sof. And then there's obviously another instance because that section repeats, and obviously we've got the breakdown here. Okay, so only EQ as you can see on the men and women, and then I am going to do this one. This is slow syllable here. I think this is the same one that's doing the ah here. That's the EQ on it. And then this is a pitch shift down version of that one, just for an effect. So this one, what I'm gonna show you, not meant to be realistic. So this is just an effect. Where is it here? I mean, you can't even hear that solo. No. Yeah, it should be. Let me see. What about here? Oh no, sorry, I've jumped. This is where we should be. Okay, we'll go back to the pitched one. There is this first to see. Okay, so this is the same but from a different library. This is from Storm Choir. So it was meant that these two are layered together. Right? So two libraries doing the same thing to get like a different choir type of stuff. And now this is the pitched. So this As you can see, men choir pitched energy syllable. So this is from this, I think. No, this is from the men. So the men energy syllable is duplicated and pitched down using a pitch shifter, really. And this is how it sounds like. Right? So it's just for effect. And this is the shouts, which is here. It doesn't have anything. If you're interested to hear that in the song. Yeah, but this one doesn't have anything on it. And then this is going to a virtual mix track that I have bypassed. This is something I didn't forget. I actually bypassed this one intentionally. I just didn't like what it was doing. So don't worry about this one. It's not even applied. Alright, percussion. Let's go percussion. What in the world is happening? Million notification I'm getting. Yeah. Okay, percussion. So this is how the percussion group sounds like. Okay, so before that I need to explain something. So I have a percussion total group. So for everything percussion is going to that group and then to the orchestral master. Okay. But within that, you can see there is mini groups. There is this, this, and this. This group is a group for the actual percussions, right? This group is for the cymbals. And this groups is for the electronic drums, and then the other stuff don't have groups, they just go straight to that. So all of these are going here, all of these are going here, all of these both of these going here, and all of these three obviously are going to the total one. These three are going straight to the total one, they don't have a group for themselves. Hey, oh, it's raiding. Oh, I thought you just followed. Hey, how's it going, Raiders? So much, Decaf, for the raid. I hope the rest of the stream was good, and cheers for checking out my track as well. We are doing an unboxing for the track, the track I've submitted the other day. Yesterday we've done the band unboxing, so I've unboxed the mix and for only the band, but now we're doing the orchestra. We're doing the production and the scene. So yeah, if you're sticking around, I hope you enjoy it. But obviously, if you had to shoot because you raided, then I hope you enjoy your day. But yeah, let's catch you soon sometime, man. And Raiders, thank you for joining. Feel free to yeah, no worries. Absolutely, feel free to lurk. There is no worries about that. Raiders, please feel free to give us follow. This is I'll keep your streams running. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, please give us a follow. We are doing, as I mentioned to Decaf, an unboxing session for this track. I am gonna play a little bit of the track for you so you can understand what's happening. Let me make sure nothing is soloed. Alright, let's go. I'm just gonna play to the chorus here and then we'll carry on. And some of these sections repeat. As you can see, I color code my sections, so you know there is a breakdown here which you can see from the different color code, and then there's an outro and a scene. But yeah, so that is kind of like the vibe of the track here. It's a bit cinematic. And yeah, so we are let me see how many we've got. I've got 10 people, so I'm gonna explain to you quickly my mastering chain, just so you can understand that what I'm gonna explain in the orchestral stuff is going through some mastering. So I sent all of the band to a band master, I sent all of the orchestra to orchestral master, I sent all of the production to a production master, and all the scene to a scene master. And then what the philosophy is basically that I want the band master to duck the orchestral master and carve the frequencies it need as they need them, and I use that, and I do that by track spacer and an external multiband. These three frequencies are on the mid, because most of these three frequency ranges in the band are in the mid, they're not on the side, right? So I only have those in mid and those inside. I've already obviously explained this at the beginning of the stream, but I want to run through it again just so you know that what I'm gonna show is also running through this. And then the production master has the band and the orchestra ducking it. So there's a hierarchy to the track. There's the band is the protagonist, and then the orchestra, and then the production. By the way, when I say production, I mean like synths, pads, explosions, brams, reversers, snare bombs, swells, reverse cymbals, all of that stuff I call production, right? And it's the third in the hierarchy. So you've got the band and the orchestra eating what they need from it as they go. And this is, for example, how it would look like. Let's say, for example, we go to the verse. So here the orchestra and the band is taking away from the production. And if you hear the production by itself in this section, let me just solo the production by itself. This is what production is doing. Right, so there's some, as you can see, some drops happening and all of that, but you don't want that to, you know, fuck the track, and you want to keep the hierarchy going, so you have this side chaining. Now all of these masters, they go to my mix bus, which has these 4 plugin, like that, and an LS, and then that mix bus goes to my stereo out, which has an SSL to glue the mix, a max bass, so you can hear the bass on small speakers, virtual mix rack on the mastering setting, linear phase multiband to control anything out of order, and the typical kind of like mid-side mastering EQ. I don't really change that. Soothe on the mastering, a bit less to do, is very popular. And this is normally I play about depending which where I want the shelf to start, and normally I have it on 12K, but in this track I've put it on 10 because some people told me it's missing a little bit of 10K, so I've added that on 10. And then you've got ozone. This is basically where I do my final set of EQ and limit. So now you know that whatever I'm gonna show is gonna go through this chain. So let's carry on with the percussion. So I'm gonna put this section on loop. So this is how the percussion sounds like. And this is made of 3 layers. So you've got the damage layer, then you've got trailer drums, then you've got the kick from Warzone, and all of these 3, they sound like this. In this orchestral section, this is how they sound like. So all of these 3 are sent to percussion group. As you see, I guess you can see everything's color coded. So these 3 are sent to this group, these 3 are sent to this, these 2 are sent to this, and then these groups are sent to the total percussion group, which is then sent to the orchestral master. So on this group, which has these three, there is a Pro Q, which I am using to increase the stick attack on the percussion, and dynamically reduce any mud. And then I think I've got Saturn, don't I? Yes. Oh no, I've got smash and grab. I've got on grab setting so I can get a little bit more transient, and I've got it set on toms. So this is normally a metal drum compressor, you know, like for rock metal, but I like to use it on orchestral toms. I think it gives a lot of attacky sound. I do have, I think, a little bit of saturation, yeah, 1%, and a little bit of beef, 2 dB, and 1 dB of air. And I think I'm compressing 3 dBs here. Let me see. So about 5. And then we have got FAF filter. Now we've got Saturn, and I'm splitting it to 2, where you've got the attack and then you've got the body. This is saturated about 20%. This is about 70. So I wanted more attack without doing a weird curve on the EQ. So you can do that by adding some harmonics. On a warm tape setting, usually it's fine. You can go more on aggressive setting if you need, like a broken transistor or something. But let me A/B how it sounds before and after. So as you can see, slight more beef, slight more attack, and that's exactly what you need. And then after that, we've got cymbals and gongs and reverse cymbals. I don't think there's a lot going on here. Are these bypassed? No, these are frozen. Let me unfreeze them. Here it is. Okay, so I've got some orchestral cymbals here. So these, I'm not using the cymbals from the metal drum kit. Using orchestral cymbals from Damage. Alright. Not a lot of processing, that is just regular, you know, more brighter attack, and any frequencies unneeded below here, I'm just removing them. And then you've got gongs. Let me see where we've got some gongs here. Right over here. So this has gongs and cymbals, right? And I think on this one, I have this for the cymbals and this for the gong, and also some high pass. And I didn't go aggressively on the high pass here because the gong, let me play it for you. It has some frequencies around the 100, 200, like this. And as you can see, this sustains for a long time. So you need to be careful with gongs. And then I've got reverse cymbals. So this is like organic orchestral reverse cymbals. Again, nothing crazy on it, very minimal. Then this is going to again, another metal drum compressor. This is on the overhead setting, but I do have this bypass, so I think I didn't like the compression on this before I sent the track to release, so I've just bypassed it. But the percussion section sounds together like this. Right, and with the section it sounds like this. Right, and then what do we have? We've got the electronic drums. So I think I've used here the huge I mean, I'm not really big on electronic drums, it's not like my style, but I wanted to add something with a little bit of a hi-hat and some, I don't know, like something. I was literally playing around with the instrument and flipping through the settings, and I think I liked the sound, so I've just added a little bit of it. So this is how it sounds like. And I'm mainly using it for the hi-hats. Again, I'm not a very big user of like electronic drums or anything, but you know, like EDM drums. But yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit of something in the background just to add some, you know, different groove, because this is playing a slightly different groove than the actual percussion. So together with the percussion, it sounds like this. And there is literally zero processing on this one, but there is some processing on the group on the electric drums group. After that, I'm gonna show you the effect I have for this section. So here I've got a shaper box, and I've got flanger and another phaser, and so I'm gonna put them all together. I've got a reverb, and I think there should be an EQ here. Yeah, so this is kind of like, this is the main effect. So this is automated, this is this EQ. So let me just go, where is it? Right here. And this is basically just kind of, it was kind of like a razor. Like I wanted to create a razor, or a riser, not a razor, a riser from the drums. So yeah, so it's a silly thing, but I don't know, I just enjoyed doing it. And then on the group of these electronic drums, I've got a BG drums compressor. This is my you know, compressor that I use on the drum bus. So I even use this, I showed yesterday when we were doing the band mix. I use this on the actual band. So if we go here, for example, sorry, here. So this has actually been used on the actual metal drums. And I've used it here on the electronic drums as well. So let's go to this section. But this one is on the open setting, because obviously this is not very tight. I didn't want a tight setting like the metal drums, so I could afford go on the open one, and I'm not compressing a lot, but I have it on 100%. After that, I've got a Pro Q, and I think this move is just for the hi-hats of the electronic drums. I just wanted that to shine through the regular orchestral percussion. And yeah, and then here we've got some anvil hit. This is some sound designy stuff, so I think this could be interesting. So I'm gonna unfreeze these. So this is an anvil hit, and I have two of them. So this is how this sound. This is how both of these sounds like together. Right, and this is how where they are in the mix. So the way I did the sound, so if you bypass, let's solo this first, the first one. Now if you bypass what's on it, this is how it used to sound. Can you imagine? This sound became from this to this. Right, and I wanted to remove a lot of things from the original sound, but I wanted mostly the tail of an anvil. So I've put an envelope shaper, I've killed all of the attack that needs to be killed, and then I've put a pitch shifter to match the note of D. So I've put, actually before this, I've put a tuner, and as you can see there's a gap here, and the tuner is locked on, as if you can see that. On the second one I've also used a tuner, so I've put here a tuner called locked on, and then a pitch shifter before it, and I pitch shifted the anvil hit to match the note D, because this section is in D minor, and I didn't want the anvil to play some weird note, so so it was by coincidence on D, but I wanted to shift it down an octave. So there's a pitch shifter here, and then after that we have just a regular reverb. I didn't use any fancy reverb. This kilohertz reverb worked, and then a punish, and I don't think this is automated, but this is bringing back some attack and some saturation, and this is why before it sounded like this, and after it sounded like this. And this is what I wanted. I wanted that ring. Now the actual hit is coming from this sample here. Right? Now before, it used to sound like this. But that is too much for the track. And I think it was even different note. So I've done some EQ. I didn't want that kind of... I didn't want it to be an impacty one. Hey Jerome, how's it going, man? Thank you so much for joining. I hope everything's good. Yeah. Sorry, again, sorry I couldn't attend the other day, but yeah, happy to see you here, man. And Eric Fuka, also thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube. Alright, pitch shifter, so we're pitch shifting this by 4 semitones to match the note D. Oh my god. Is this literally every single subscription that the OBS missed? There might be 2 or 3 that's gonna come through OBS if that's the case. I think Jerome kind of like unlocked the chain. Now I've got this here just to make it mono, so nothing here is happening. I literally just loaded this plugin to make this mono because I didn't want the stereo, because without it, look, there's a little bit of a stereo effect happening. I didn't want that. I just wanted it to be mono and then for me to pan it however I want to pan it. So I've put this to make it mono, then after that same reverb as the other one, and then after that punish as well right here, and together they sound like this. This is exactly what I wanted it to sound. I wanted something more the tail than the impact. That's it. And final thing in the percussion, we've got the bells which play here. There's nothing literally on the bell, I don't think. Yeah, no EQ, no nothing, just left it as is. And with that being said, this is all of the percussion. So let's now move to the production element. So the production has 2 things. It has the synths and it has the sound effects. And we're gonna start first with the synths, obviously. So all of these are frozen. So let me unfreeze them from here. Okay, everything now is unfrozen and we'll start one by one. So a lot of these, or if not all of them, will have JW Joel Wanasak's key limiter, and this is normally how I gain stage my production stuff, and sometimes I put the push to 50% to get some distortion. So you've got a lot of synth layer here, so let's start, and I've tidied them up in a way where the first one that appear in the track, like in order, chronological order of the track. So the first one will be here, which is this. So this is a pad happening underneath the intro, which sounds like this. And as you can see, as the moment the band and the orchestra comes in, that gets ducked because the band and the orchestra is carving what they need to from the chain that I've showed earlier. But this in itself has some stuff. I'm gonna go through these very quickly. Most of these will have the same EQ because I don't do a lot of messing about with my synths unless there's something deliberate I'm trying to do. But yeah, dynamic muddiness and high pass filter, and then Saturn. Probably I just wanted the high end of that synth. Let me solo it. So this, yeah, just added some about 70% saturation. Next one is we've got, this is playing also underneath it. So this is the alarm. This is also got a limiter, push on 50. It's got an EQ here. Similar thing, but there's a deliberate increase here. I think this is where the alarm itself, like the body of the alarm is. And then you've got a room just to make it sound like it's coming from a hole or something like that. I have this on large chamber, mixes like only 18%. And I really, with this one, I really wanted it to sound, I don't know, I'm imagining this alarm as a red light to your right, as you're listening to the track, like as a warning. So with the track, I mean, listen to the aesthetic that this alarm gives the track. And that's kind of like, I wanted this kind of danger thing, especially for it to match the album art, which for those who don't know how the album art looks like, it looks like this. And yeah, just wanted to, like, when the song hits, I wanted the listener to be like, okay, something is off, you know, something is, there's imminent danger type of thing. All right, so next we go to the Space Odyssey thing, and this is playing under the verse, and this sounds like this. Limiter on 50, really minimal EQ, and Saturn, same move as the other synths, just adding more grit so that it pokes through the mix a little bit, especially compensating for the fact that the mastering chain is gonna take what it needs and give it to the band and the orchestra. And then after that we have this Rising Sun one. I think I've composed this to the key of the bass, this Rising Sun one. Again, same limiter for my production. As you can see, I use this limiter on every single production track. High pass filter. You can see it's very minimal work on the production because I don't need a lot. The mastering chain and the mastering side chaining I have from the band on the orchestra is already taking away what it needs, and the production itself is third in the hierarchy. So I try the aim whenever I reach this section of the mix, I put immediately the hat of try to do as minimum as possible. You don't need a lot. So there is Saturn here, and there is a little bit of distortion on this Rising Sun thing. And as you can see, I label them. So I took this from Gravity 1, and this is Gravity 2, Gravity 2 Warzone. Right, so let's go to the bass. And the reason why I've put this is not the bass guitar, this is a bass synth. And the reason why I have this here, because I added a bass synth in the orchestra to just give it body. But then that made the band doesn't have that artificial body. So I've added a synth bass just under the band. And it's not all the time, so it doesn't play in the orchestral section. Sorry, in the chorus section. It only plays in the verse. And that's how it sounds like. It's very quiet. Got a limiter and a push, and then a little bit of an EQ here. Same thing again, very minimal stuff. Now we go to the plucks. These are playing underneath the guitar, so let me play the entire mix together, and then I'll solo the plucks, and then you can see that it's playing with the guitars. Yeah, just literally playing with them. Same limiter, 50%, high pass filter, Saturn. This is on everything, got on 20%. And that's it for this one. Then this is the synth bass that plays under the orchestral section. Yeah, I'm gonna just open all of the plugins here so you can see what's happening on that. Another Saturn. I use Saturn a lot for everything. I was gonna say for production, but I have it on my drum bus a lot. I think the only place I don't use it on is guitar. Like I even use it on my bass guitar. Alright, now Gravity 1 Above Beauty. This is in the chorus. Very subtle stuff. This is all to add, like, basically these pads in my compositions, I add them just to fill any spaces, so just so that any space is filled with something, not necessarily for it to be heard. This was the setting for it. I think now we get to some of the exciting production stuff. So Fear the Worst is here. So this is a patch I've designed in Frozo. For those who don't know Frozo is a brass designer, right? So you can design, you know, a patch using brass, using actual brass, and this is a patch I've designed on stream for this track, and this has the same thing. So it has a limiter. This has some EQ, right? So I'm doing this boost here because I wanted the bram within the patch to be really loud. But then that brought some nasty frequencies from the whistly channel of the patch, the one that you can hear on the right hand side. So I've put a dynamic notch here, just dynamically to remove these frequencies when they're getting too much. And as you can see, I've done like 2 increases here. I don't know why I didn't do just one big one. Doesn't matter. And I've removed, I think this is like a harsh area. I'm attacking the higher frequency in that patch. So you can see this patch has 3 sounds. It has one on your right hand, one on your right ear, which is like a whistly thing. You have the bram, the dan, and then you have another brass doing da 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 da. So it has 3 sounds. So I wanted the da 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 and the bram, right? I wanted that to be a little bit more aggressive, and this is where this is from. But that is bringing a little bit of annoying noise from the whistly one, and this is me like kind of like doing a give and take type of thing. After that, I've got soothe. I felt like I needed to do soothe for that whistly section of the patch, the one on the right hand side. And then I have punish on it, and this is static. Normally you will see, I think in the next one you will see, normally with punish I automate it, because with punish you can hook all of these knobs to the punish button, and then if you automate the punish button you can create some sort of a movement. Or actually it's not a button, it's a knob. I don't know why I said a button. But this is what's on the fear the worst effect. Now we have the driving pulse, and I think this is the one where it has some automation. So let's open all of the effects for it. So I've got limiter, we've got an EQ, and we've got punish. And watch the punish knob and watch how these knobs are increasing as the track plays, okay? So you can see these lines, for example. Here the drive is increasing and decreasing. The threshold of the compressor is increasing depending on this, because it's linked to it, right? So this has punish on it, it has this EQ on it, because I wanted the attack of these kind of pulses to, you know, poke through, but at the same time that there was a lot of mud in this patch. I've also designed this patch in Gravity 2. And then we've got mosaic pads. What was this doing? I actually forgot. Oh, it's just a pad type of thing. Okay. So a limiter that's doing absolutely nothing, and then just the typical EQ curve here. Then we have the reversed. Okay, yeah, I like this effect. This is one of the final additions when I was doing the writing. Is I've took the guitar riff, which sounds like this. So I've took the guitar riff and I've put the same notes that the guitar is playing on an instrument called Riv, which stands for reversers, and it's a reversed sample based instrument. So you can, you know, compose stuff and all of the samples are played like in reverse. And I wrote it exactly to what I played on guitar, and I don't know, it gave like a nice aesthetic underneath the guitar. So I'm gonna solo it and you can see it's playing the same riff. right? So with the guitar, now that you can hear it, and on this I don't have anything really. I just have the same keys limiter from Jewel One Attack JSC, and I've got the push on 50% really. Now Gravity 2 Dunescapes. Let's see how that sounds. This is just a pad underneath the breakdown. Cheers, man. Appreciate it. And this is playing like this. Limiter doing nothing. So when you see these limiters doing nothing, why is that? It's because when I start gain staging the production, I know that I want JW keys on all of my synths. So I just load an empty instance of it on everything. And then I start, you know, gain staging them. And as I'm mixing them, I might add push and stuff. So the ones that I found them already at the right level without gain staging. I don't touch them, right? And I don't even increase the push because there is no need. So as you can see, there was 2 instances here and this you know, production for on this synth group that we didn't find anything was done on JW keys. EQ wise, same move. You've seen this EQ on most of my production stuff. Again, I'm trying to do as minimal as possible. Now this is my favorite synthy thing I've designed in this track. I think this and so the driving pulse I showed you earlier and the Frozo, that's one. I mean, I love this, but the one that I love the sound of the most is this Novo. I mean, underneath this breakdown, I really love this this patch here. Now you might be like, well, I mean, it doesn't sound that impressive. There is something about it that sounds scratchy, and underneath the breakdown, it adds a sense of chaos. I don't know, I really loved, and when I was designing it, it was fantastic. So I've designed this on Novo. Novo is like Frozo. It's also a Heaviosity contact library, and just like how Frozo uses brass to design, you know, stuff, this one uses strings, right? So you can, you know, use strings to design synthy stuff. And the way this is designed is that this is actually like a synth motif being triggered at random places, and I've set the panning to be nuts. But their scratchy sound of the violin from the patch jumping randomly is that giving that scratchy sound, and underneath the breakdown, I think, I don't know, just to me it sounds really satisfying. Like, I love it, and especially here where I've put it to go pitch up at the end. Yeah, it's fantastic, and I like how it pokes its head between the breakdown, between the notes of the breakdown. It's just, I don't know, it's my personal favorite in this track. This has a little bit of a push here and some limiting going on, and we've got an EQ here. I probably felt like this frequency is needed, so just did it. I've added a little bit. What else synths wise? Left to Survive. Where is this? This is probably, yes, at the outro. So this is how this is the pad of the outro. So this is just playing underneath the outro, and the outro sounds like this. So this is just like literally a pad underneath it. This is from Gravity 2. I'm not sure if I've designed this or I've just used the Left to Survive pad. Normally, I don't like to use something that's pre-designed for me. Like, if I load a preset, I like to fuck with it and modify it until I feel like it's I don't know, like it's kind of like unique and something I've done. Like, I really don't like to use, you know, already provided stuff. That's not the fun of it for me. So it's the Left to Survive preset, but I cannot remember what kind of modification I've done to that. And then underneath it, there is also alarms. So just like how the intro we've got alarms, this is a different type of alarms in the outro. I'm gonna play the outro with everything to see if you can hear it, and then I will solo it. Yeah, so for this one, I think I've done some pitch shifting and then I've printed the result. So this is actually not the way it came. I think I've pitched it. So this, I think this is the same note, but I've done the pitch using a pitch shifter. And then I've printed the result because I wanted that kind of sound like, and I think I'm going here from A to A. So maybe A4 to A3 or A3 to A4. I forgot what it was, but I remember me automating the pitch shift. It's got some delay on it just to kind of give it depth. Put it in a little bit, push it, you know, towards the background a little bit, and then a black hole. This is the settings. Can't remember how I came up with this settings, but I've played around with it enough to find this. And yeah, that's the alarm. And that is all the synth group stuff. We're gonna move to the explosions and the sounds effects as well now, but on the synth group there is nothing, right? So let's move to sound effects. I need to unfreeze anything. Yes, I think a lot of them needs unfreezing, so let me unfreeze. Here we go. So a lot of this stuff, as you can see, there is nothing on them. So if you go through the sound effect folder, you've got like easy 10 tracks with 0 processing, just like levels. But some of these have some, you know, just EQs, like mixing stuff, and some of them have some sound designy stuff. So you've got the Brahms. So I'm gonna solo the Bram group. The Bram sounds like this. So this is actually, before soloing it, this is where the brand comes in. And I've got all the Brahms sent to a Bram group, and together they sound like this. Right, and there's 3 layers of them. So there's one from Frozo, there's one from Jaeger, and there's one that I've designed from Symphonic Destruction. Right, and together they give that Bram sound. This is played in the intro and on the breakdown as well. And there is nothing on them except on the group. I think there is a little bit of an EQ, just removing some low end. And what is this? Okay, so uber loud. This is kind of like a design, like a sound design multiband compressor. And I have this on the Brahms. So I've got a little bit of push on the high end, a little bit of push on the mid, just about 15%. And I think there is a setting here. No, I don't have any clip. Okay, so without it, it sounds like this. And then with it, it sounds like this. So it's just kind of like an exciter slash multiband compressor. And then we've got some explosion here, and this is where we're starting to get some sound design. So we've got this explosion, right? And the reason why it sounds crunchy is because I've got Rift, and my favorite preset to create crunchy stuff in Rift is literally crunchy breaks, and you'll find this in the drum heat. Right now, it's up to you to increase the amount of crunch. I think I've increased this 79. I don't think this comes in at 79. I wanted this to be really crunchy, right? And without it, it actually sounds like this. Right, so with it, just with Rift, without the EQ, Like this is insane from one plugin. And then I've got a Pro Q. I'm not sure why I didn't like this frequency, but here you go. I've got another explosion. Okay, so this, I'm gonna show you something. So this is actually not the entire explosion. So if you go here, and if you go here, this is actually how the explosion sounds like. Right now, actually, this is with a lot of processing. Let me remove everything that's processed. This is how the explosion sounds like. Right, but there's a lot of stuff I liked in this, but I didn't, and there's other stuff that I didn't like. This is why there's a lot of processing on this. So first of all, as you can see, I didn't want the initial attack of the explosion. I just wanted the rubble and the gravel and the sound of, you know, something flying. I wanted the explosion to come from this layer here, from this. I didn't want the actual attack of the explosion from this sample here. I just didn't like it at all. Well, I mean, I liked it, but it doesn't fit here. I've pitch shifted to 1 dB. I can't remember why actually. No, this is Cubase. This is Cubase. Yeah, Logic. You can only use Logic on Mac. I think Logic is a Mac only. I use Windows. Yeah. Cubase is pretty standard. Cubase is the industry standard for compositions, or like, you know, cinematic. Like Hans Zimmer uses Cubase. A lot of the Metal Gear Solid tracks or Final Fantasy, or like a lot of the tracks you hear composition-wise or in movies are in Cubase. But it's also, ironically, also very, very, very popular in the modern metal scene. So a lot of modern metal artists use Cubase, you know, like Monuments, Misha, Tesseract. I can go on and on. Bleed from Within. Like literally most of my favorite metal bands uses Cubase. So Cubase is pretty standard, pretty industry standard for the type of music I do, whether it's cinematic or metal. Now, obviously, somebody might say, oh, Pro Tools is the industry standard. I think Pro Tools is the industry standard for everything. Like composers, I don't know, hip hop, fucking rock. Like Pro Tools is the Apple of DAWs. And then you've got ones that are more specific to certain stuff. How long have you been making music? Oh, how long have I been making music and playing music? I think it's different. So I picked up a guitar in 2009, but I've started writing music not long after that, but it was on Guitar Pro. I'm not sure if you guys know what Guitar Pro is, but it's like a MIDI. It's a very old MIDI software that you used to you know, download tabs on and just, you know. So I used to write a lot of music on Guitar Pro that sounded like shit. Not because Guitar Pro sounds shit, but because I didn't know how to write music back then. I'm not saying like I do now, but you know. And then I think in 2014, funny enough, I was at uni. And one of my friends, we were just at a uni bar, and I showed one of my friends. I was studying at Birkbeck, London, and one of my friends, I was showing her the Guitar Pro track I wrote, and she was like, "Oh, you know, my friend, you know, actually does stuff like this, and he's used something called FL Studio or something." And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And she was like, "Yeah, I mean, I think he does it all and all of that shit." And I was like, what's that? So I went back, I've researched what is FL Studio, and I've discovered the world of that you can do this stuff yourself. That's 2014. I'm like, fuck off. There's no way that's true. Is this true? And then I've started like researching all of that shit. I've used FL Studio for I think 4 months or 5 months. And the way I've started production is the following. And by the way, this is actually, I think, an advice to anybody. is that if you want to produce anything or like compose anything or do anything, try to do a cover first, not necessarily to release the cover, I don't give a shit about that, but for you, like pick a track that you want to do and try to do it, try to do exactly it. The process of you reverse engineering how that track was made and you reverse engineering how to get to that sound is the best academy, right? Yes, 100%. And the realization when you don't achieve the same sound, the realization that you will get about the gap that there is and the stuff that you need to learn about, it will guide you to what you need to learn about. So if your drums sounded like shit, you'll be like, how do I mix drums? And then you'll be like, why is my kick sounding like why? So it will guide you to what you don't know. The best way to learn, I'm not sure about anything, I'm not gonna say anything, I'll start doing like life coaching stuff, but I'm saying like for this production and like music making is do a cover between you and yourself, not to release, between you and yourself, of something you like. So if it's a movie score, let's say you like the OST of Final Fantasy 15, take that OST and try to redo that OST. Try to figure out what it is. It's fine if, for example, you wanna understand what key it was in or what scale to make it easier for you. That's fine. But the idea is to make the sounds. Try to do a cover between you and yourself. Now, you want to release it or not, that's up to you. But yeah, I mean, I definitely keep telling people that, because I do feel that this is the best thing I've done to learn all of this. Yeah, and then after that, I've seen some of my favorite people use Cubase, and I've downloaded Cubase, and yeah, since then I'm on Cubase, big user of Cubase. I don't think I will change. It's kind of like my comfort zone, and for composition is very nice. I am on version 12, but I want to update to version, I think right now we're on 14, but I think cost right now 120, and in that I'm gonna buy some acoustic treatment instead, and then I'll upgrade whenever I want. But yeah, that's how I've been doing it, really. But yeah, seriously, I would say do a cover of something you want to do, and yeah, go for it. So that's my 2 cents on it. All right, so here I've pitch shift this explosion here. Let me just put it by itself. And then I have lock on because I wanted to understand what's the pitch of the explosion, and I think this is just because for the attack of the explosion. Now that we've removed it, I don't think it's gonna tell us anything. Yeah, there is not a specific pitch to this one. And then FAF filter, this is me muting, like I don't think I'm using FAF filter here at all. I'm just using it for this mute button. David Nevals, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. I hope you're enjoying the content. I'm gonna play a snippet of the track in a minute as well, just so you guys know what we're working on. But yeah, appreciate you. I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, so this, as you can see, I mean, if I bypass this is how this sound was. And I really didn't like this low end for what I want. So all I had to do is to kill it, absolutely like annihilate it, is I've got Saturn, I've split it, and I've muted. I mean, there is nothing you can do that's more powerful than actually just muting the low end. Muted, I don't need it, because again, I'm sound designing here and a certain thing, which is I just wanted the sound of the rubble. Now, what this did, when I've done the muting on Saturn, is that it took away from a lot of let's say aggressiveness from the rubble. So I got this back with the crunchy, same preset, the crunchy breaks from Rift, and this is how it sounded like after everything. Right, so without Rift it actually sounded like this. Right, so obviously Rift is adding a lot of volume as well, but that's probably a gain staging thing. And yeah, so this is how I did the sound. I think we spent a lot on the sound. So after that, there are some explosions, but there's nothing on them, so I'll just solo them for you. There's no processing here. And then bass drops. I generate these bass drops from a sine wave, bass drop generator. And this is an A1, like the note A, because the riff here is playing in A and the breakdown plays in A, first note. So I have an A bass drop and a D bass drop. The D is for the verse. Alright, so that's a D. And then for the chorus. So yeah, I like everything to be in tune. I don't like just to put samples that are out of key. So that's why I generate my own. So this is, yeah, A and D are playing depending on the section. And then you've got hits. This is from Gravity 1. This has been my favorite cinematic hits generator for a while now. Right. And there's only an EQ on it here, just to increase the presence of the whoosh before the hit. One thing I need to mention is that, remember the anvil we talked about in the orchestral verse? I do have only an anvil cinematic hit here. So this is also adding to the anvil hit we spoke about in the percussion. And then some impacts from Devastator. These are deeper. Right? I think I've used the same impact with everything except the breakdown. The breakdown gets insane when you just solo the impacts. Right? It's just insanity. Oh yeah, there is. I was gonna say there's nothing on it. Just okay, so this is interesting. So I've done a tilt EQ just to rebalance the curve. I remember doing that, but I completely forgot about it before I opened this plugin. So yeah, just to kind of like decrease the low end of the Devastator impacts, but at the same time increase the whoosh. Just put a tilt EQ and just done a subtle move here. We've got a few things that don't have any processing on them. These are like laser launchers and stuff like this, so I'm just gonna solo them so you guys can hear what they sound like together. There's no processing on these, and these play in this section. Very subtle addition, but it's there. And then you've got slow motion. So I somewhat designed this myself. So I got a slow motion, not a sample, but like what do you call it? Like a sound wave preset from Devastator. And inside Devastator, you can modify it. So you can select what key it is. You can select what pitch it is. How long you want to add reverb, distortion, all of that stuff. Where is it playing from? And I've designed that there. And then outside of Devastator, I've done some other additions, but let me just see where it's playing. So it's playing right here, right? So this is playing underneath the bass slide, right? So this is how it sounds like. It's very deep sound. There isn't a lot of presence, but again, this is underneath the bass slide, so that's kind of like the effect I wanted. As you can see, I've also shifted it an octave down after I've took it out from Devastator. I think I tried to use this heat wave for distortion, not liked it. Then use drift again, same thing, crunchy breaks. This time the crunch is on 100%. And then Pro Q to remove all of the high end. As you can see, I didn't want any presence here, so I removed the high end. So I'm gonna bypass everything here and show you how it sounded like before my processing. So it sounded like literally a slow motion sound effect, but I didn't want the presence at all, so I just killed it. I just wanted it to be enhancing the bass slide right here. So all together. Again, very subtle. Then we've got reverse snare. I also have this trick in every single track I have. Reverse snare is just, as it says, you reverse the snare, put it before a snare hit. Not all of them, just very selective ones. And the cool thing is that it gives the effect to the listener that they can hear the hand doing this. So that whoosh before the snare, it gives the impression of you actually hearing the movement of the hand. And this is how the reverse snare by itself sounds like. Did I play the fucking... 1 second. Here it is. Okay, so that's a reverse snare. And then let me show you how it sounds like in the track. So it's very, very subtle. In the breakdown, I think it becomes more apparent. But I like to have it at selective hits. Right, so it's there, but I think I've decreased it by a lot. So here, I've decreased it by 9 dB, and then on the channel, I've decreased it by 4. So here, you can look here, it's -9. And then on the actual channel, -4. So that's like -13 dB until I found it sitting at the right level that I wanted it. I mean, I could have increased it if I wanted to, but like that's exactly the levels I want. And then after that, we have a snare bomb. So this is you taking the snare. Oh, actually, I need to show you the processes on the reverse snare. The reverse snare has got an OTT. It's got a Pro Q here, and this is to remove the woodiness of the snare, and we don't need a lot of presence for it. It has a black hole for it to sound like massive, and especially to leave some tail after it by itself without the body of the actual snare. That oomph after it. It gives the actual snare some impact. And then we've got snare bomb. So this is you taking the snare and really like butchering it, really. Right. We've got reverb first. So you've got the reverb first, and then the process is after the reverb. So you're really affecting the sound in a unnatural way to get that kind of larger than life feel. Then you've got an EQ to remove the presence. Then I'm crushing the living hell out of it, about -10 dB. Did I reduce it to -5 at the end? So normally my philosophy is always trying to reach -10 with snare bombs, but for some reason I pulled it back. I don't know why I've done that, but I can't even remember really. And then you've got, this is another reverb after the resulted sounds that you've got. So remember, we've put a reverb first, and now we're putting a reverb, like a spring delay / reverb on it after. And then what do we have? Normally in my preset I come with this spring reverb, but as you can see I've updated to use the other one, and I've bypassed this. And then we've got Pro Q again, and then I'm pretty sure I've turned this off, but then I probably turned it on back again, which is that tube. It's just a distortion, stock distortion from Cubase, like a tube distortion. Didn't want to load anything fancy. It's orange because it's post fader. And this is how the snare bomb sounds like. Now before, actually let me show you before. So that is before. It's insane how, right? And together with the reverse snare, right? Now all of everything together, can hear that kind of like snare resonance. And then the rest, there's literally, I don't think there's any processes here except on this one. These are risers. I'm gonna solo all of them for you so you can hear them all. because there's nothing really like mind-blowing about these. So there are some risers here. Let's put it here. Alright, so this is playing literally before every other bar. And then you've got some other type of risers, like let's say here. Oh, this is a downer. For that bass slide. You've got a riser for the breakdown, like a very long one here. Let me just put it. There's two back to back. Listen for them. So this is the first one. Right, so these are like two risers back to back. In the breakdown, they're like this. Right. I also designed these risers in Gravity 2. There's another riser instance here. That's also in the breakdown. There's another one here in the orchestral. I think this is more hybrid, so it's not synthy. No, this is synthy. It's definitely synthy. There's a hybrid one. Ah, this is a hybrid one. Okay, so the 32 beats from Rise and Hit. So it's just a cymbal one. I've also designed that in Rise and Hit. Okay, and then the final riser is in the outro. It sounds like this. It's a very long riser. It's 32 beats. Right, so with the actual outro, it sounds like this. And that's it. This is really all of the production mix. Fucking hell, every time I think it will go really quick, me doing the production folder, but it's actually always longer than I think. And the orchestral folder as well tricks me. But it's fine. I think it took us only 2 hours. The band itself, one folder, took us, I don't know, 2 hours and a half yesterday. Because the band has the most processes and it's the protagonist of the song. Alright, let's move to the final folder, which is the scene. I'm gonna play the scene from start to finish, and I will dissect it.
It's finally over. We did it! Wait. What the? Oh no.
So we'll start top to bottom. So first I have this. Actually, first from the orchestra, we've got two things. We've got a violin tremolo that happens right after the chorus. So I'm gonna solo it. As you can see, this is it by itself, and I've composed it in a way where it dips in dynamics and it increases as the dialogue, you know, within the context of the dialogue. And then we also have this. Which one was it? Approaching. Yes, this one. This one I composed just to add a sense of unsettling and something like you've just discovered, also in context of the dialogue. So let me show you how it sounds by itself, and then I'll put it with dialogue. Right, so if you hear it with the dialogue, it will make more sense.
It's finally over. We did it! Wait. What the?
Right. So yeah, I just wanted to mention those because they're part of the scene as well. Alright, so in the scene folder, we first have the background fire. Sounds like this. And on this one, I do have a fog convolver. It's like this. This is a convolution reverb, and I have it on tennis court setting just to kind of like take this fire sample that I've got and make it feel like it's outdoor, right? I wanted an outdoor feeling. And I found this kind of like royal tennis court. I think this tennis court is actually indoor, but I just like the sound. So without it, it sounds like this. Right, with it, see, it goes to the background a little bit, has some reverb. And then this is doing nothing. This is the demo. I'm not going to show you this because this is me saying the script before I give it to the voice actor. And I wrote down the script, and then I gave him the script. I even didn't show him me saying the dialogue. Yeah, this is like something I'm not sure, but but basically it's saying the same thing. When I was like kind of creating the script, saying, you know, it's finally over, we did it. And you can see, actually, you can look at the sound wave and kind of read them. It's finally over, we did it, what the, oh no, or something like that. And this is the dialogue. So this is the voice actor I hired from Fiverr, and I gave him the 11 word script, and he gave me 3 takes. I chose whatever I wanted from the takes, and then I made them to this one dialogue thing.
It's finally over. We did it!
Right. I only have a compressor on it, and I have it set from the actual presets that comes from Pro C2, Pro VoiceOver. And I was like looking for kind of like a starting point, and I've chose this, and then I've set the threshold and the ratio to taste. But yeah, it's pretty much started with this preset, and it's working really cool. Let me see how many gain reduction is doing.
It's finally over.
About 6. I mean, this one here.
We did it!
Yeah, this one gets reduced by like 7.
Wait.
We did it. And then the steps. So this is a free steps, like footsteps pack I've got from freesound.org, and it's a gravel one. So it's like a footsteps on gravel type of thing. And I've just and it comes like left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, and I've laid them out as is. So left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. And it comes all in one audio, but I've chopped them. No, actually, it doesn't come in one audio. It comes like multiple, and I just loaded them and placed them in a way. The way I'm imagining the character is him holding his hand on this hand, like he's holding his arm with this hand, and then he's being injured. So I didn't want the steps to sound like as you would walk, you would be like normally walking. I wanted them to sound a little bit crooked. So this is how they sound like by themselves. And I made sure to put some footsteps while he was talking, because you know we do that as humans. Obviously, we talk while we walk. So not all of them are on top of the dialogue, but some of them are, like here. Let me play the dialogue and you'll see.
It's finally over. We did it!
I do think they're well placed. I mean, they might be not the best footstep placement in the world, but I think I'm happy with them. And then here the final one, when he says wait, I've put the left foot and the right foot together as if he, you know, I mean, you can imagine that he's just like seen something and he's just, boom, what's going on? So I've put both of them together.
Wait. What the?
And by the way, I've got each like left foot, right foot, left. I've got them panned slightly. So the left one is L12, right one R12, and so on and so forth. As you can see, by the way, for you not familiar with Cubase, you can see it either here or here. Yeah, so that is the dialogue. And then let's go to some sound designy stuff. just mute these. So first we've got a slow motion here. Where is this? Oh. Ah, okay. I think this is... Wait, what?
Oh no.
Oh, god damn it. I know what I've done.
Oh no.
Okay, so this actually should be here. This audio file should be here, but there is no processing, so it doesn't matter. But this launcher, this is like sound of a launcher, should be on this channel. But anyway, so this is how it sounds like. And then we've got some slow motion stuff. So this slow motion effect is made of two sounds. This is the first one. Right? And this is the second one. Let me just mute the dialogue here. Right? So together they sound like this. And one of them has nothing on, and the other one has rift. So this one, I wanted it to sound crunchy, so I've added rift. Without rift, sounds like this. And then with rift, there is a little bit more low end and a little bit more crunch. Again, crunchy breaks. I've used the living hell out of this in this song. And together they sound everything, like with everything, sounds like this.
Oh no.
And then one final thing is, that's actually a pun not intended. Obviously the name of the song is One Final Act. But I've got like, what would you call it? Like a ring noise here. You know, assuming that, you know, after something happened, you know, or a bomb explodes or something, you hear that. Now obviously there is no bomb exploded here, but I don't know, I just added this for aesthetic.
Wait. What the? Oh no.
Boom. And that's the track. This is the track. That's all of the unboxing, band, production, orchestra, scene, everything on the individual channels, everything on the groups. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. The next track, well, there's two things. First of all, the next stream, I'm either gonna show you how I tab the songs and then put it on Songster to be tabbed. So I will go to Guitar Pro and I will tab the song, and I will take some of the MIDI from Cubase, so I can show you, like, if you wrote your drums in MIDI and your bass in MIDI, you can take that with you to Guitar Pro. And that will save you a lot of time, because Guitar Pro it can accept importing MIDI, and I just want my song to be tabbed in Guitar Pro just so that in the future, if I want to play it, I will just go and practice it, because I have a memory of a goldfish, and even my own songs I forget how to play them. So yeah, I want to tab it, and then the stream after that is I'm gonna do a new template. So I want to have a production template or writing template very reminiscent of my mixing template. So this thing that I've got here, you know, the mastering, chains, you know, of that, like orchestral master, band master, all of that, and then how everything is split. I normally have a template for that, but it's very writing. Well, I want to create a template that is that will allow me to kind of somewhat mix as I go by, just so it can speed up the process. And yeah, I want to create that on the stream, probably in the next stream. But yeah, that is something I really need to do before I start the following track. You know, the track after this one. And that template is gonna be like band folder, the guitar's ready, bass ready, or at least the contact player is ready, and you know the drums are ready. At least you know that even with an empty shell, but just the layout is ready. Everything's color coded, everything's routed. Same thing with the orchestra. You know, a contact instrument for the strings and all of their midis, contact instrument for the brass, all of their midis, and so on and so forth. So when I come in to write a new song, the layout is ready. All I have to do is just think of the aesthetic, load the correct instrument, and compose on it, and all of that stuff. You know, everything's already set, and I want to do that just to kind of increase speed. So it's gonna be pretty much as you're seeing here, like this. Imagine this, but instead of audio, it will be MIDI. So here will be like a contact player, and then boom, the MIDI is ready. Just all I have to do is open that contact instrument, load the instruments, and go for it. Same with the synths, same with the production, same with the risers, and all of that stuff. And the explosions and all of that. And that hopefully will probably cut maybe 6 hours or something from the process of like trying to understand what do I need to put, where do I need to route it, all of that shit every time. Or not understand, I obviously have the same kind of like layout every single track, but to do it from scratch every single time is annoying. While if I have a template that I load, everything's ready, I can just start writing immediately. And it will only also allow me, if I had an idea, for just a short snippet of an idea, I can open the template, write just that snippet. If it's a riff or like an orchestral section or something, I'll just write that very quickly in my spare time, just so that I have that idea saved. Demo 21, demo 22, and then when I open the Cubase session again, I'll have a little bit of that idea on Cubase better than I have it on my iPhone hummed, because I have on my iPhone like I don't know how many hundreds of ideas just hummed like da 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 da, and then I start talking to myself to my iPhone, be like, this section by the way is brass. Don't imagine piano. You know. By the way, the thing I'm gonna hum right now is the string section. Just so imagine a viola, right? Or this riff I'm humming right now is in drop B, and I start humming to my iPhone. Very silly, but you have to do what you have to do when you're outside. So instead of listening to that like 5 months down the line, if I have a template ready, I can just open the template, boom, boom, boom. I'll still hum it to my iPhone, unfortunately, but then I can just translate it to Cubase and save that section way quicker, you know, and have it ready for, you know, extrapolating the idea later on. But that's something I want to do. But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much guys for watching. I am gonna dip right now. I wanted to make, you know, a full unboxing for the track. If you haven't watched part 1 where we've done the band, right now it's on the VODs on Twitch, but from now to the future it's gonna be on YouTube as well. So everything, that's the cool thing about multi-streaming, is that stuff I'm streaming now is gonna stay on YouTube forever. And you can go, I've already organized it in a playlist, so if you go to my YouTube, you can find it in 2 places, either in the unboxing playlist, or you can find it in the playlist of this track, because every track, as you know, has a playlist on YouTube for all of the streams that we've done to make that track. So there's a One Final Act playlist, there's a Royal Armature Unleashed playlist, there's a Starry Night playlist, and all of that stuff, and it has all of the streams doing that track. So yeah, whenever you want to come back to this, you can come back to this. But yeah, with that being said, thank you. I really want to stream more, but I have some admin to do, and I have some other stuff to do as well for my side hustle ghost note, which if you haven't checked out, you can see at the bottom left corner of the stream. You can see it says links below. This is my side hustle ghost note. I have a music accessories brand that we've just started. Feel free to check it out. Yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for joining, and I will see you guys in the next stream. Let me see if I can raid someone very quickly, so please stick around. Let's see who we can raid. Gonna rate someone who probably does reactions, or if there's another metal
last year's champion to claim this spot. So, I mean, he's been fighting tooth and nail. We saw the nerves on display when he was getting the sniff, you know what I'm saying? But
All right, okay, I'll send you to this channel. They reacted to my track earlier. I can't believe that I actually streamed mid their stream and ended my stream, and they're still streaming. Some people stream for a long time, man. I'm gonna rate them. Let me see. They react also to your music, so you can post your music there. Here it is. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Hopefully. See you guys.
No, I don't want to be there. And what's it called?
And I really wanted to be like the positive, like protagonist, carrying. Yo, thank you. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. What's up? Did you raid me earlier stream? You did. You gave me 2 raids in my one stream. Is that for real? Patrick and SpongeBob were like Cosmo and Wanda. Or like what's the one like? They're like Batman and Robin. We're like